In the Black Country, we have our own Black Country alphabet, and today I'm going to run through it. There is a video on YouTube of the original Black Country alphabet song, so if you do want to check that out, go and type it into YouTube and it will come up. This I'm not going to be singing because number one, I don't want a copyright strike on YouTube, and number two, it would put you off the video completely, so I'm just going to talk through it. The Black Country alphabet has certain words that we use as Black Country folk that's not always used in other parts of the UK or even the world. And to locals, our dialect is understood, but certain words and phrases aren't all over the UK or all over the world. So I'm doing this video just to talk about the dialect and some of the words and phrases that we do use. I bought this bag a couple of years ago and it has the Black Country alphabet on it. And I'm going to run through that with you. A is for apple. B is for nana. C is for council pop. D is for Donnies. E is for eagoo. F is for fiddle. G is for gizagoo. H is for os. I is for ickle. J is for jed. K is for kaloid. L is for like or like yo. M is for mucka, alright me old mucka. N is for nah. O is for awamya. P is for tater. Q is for quid. R is for riffy. S is for suck. T is for tararabit. U is for V is for vest. You have to listen to the song to understand that a little bit more. W is for woman. Y is for yampy. Z is for stripy os. And then you have to listen to the song for the rest of it for the lyrics, but X is for gizakiss. Now, what does all that mean? Because you're probably thinking, what on earth does that mean? Unless you're from the Black Country, or if you know somebody from the Black Country who uses this terminology. Quite commonly in the Black Country, we say words differently. So certain pronunciations are different. So instead of saying apple, we'll say apple. So sometimes we use an O for an A. B is for nana. Now, we've got plenty of other words we use that start with a B, and I'm not talking about swear words here. And I am going to talk about those in a minute once I've translated some of this. C is for council pop. Now, council pop basically means tap water. Donnies, that means hands. So somebody might say, quite commonly in the Black Country, I'm going to wash me donnies. Go and wash your donnies. So basically, just go and wash your hands. Here you go. So eagoo means here you go. F is for fiddle. So fiddle means food. Gizagoo means give a go. Give me a go with that. H is for os. It basically means horse. We drop our H's quite a lot in the Black Country. I is for ickle. Basically means small. So the little small man there. Ickle. Not everybody uses ickle. I don't use that as a phrase. But some people, instead of saying little, will say ickle. J is for jed, so that just means dead. Like, that's just the way we say like. Like. Just try and emphasise it a little bit more. I do appreciate my accent is not the strongest, but that's just the way we pronounce certain words. Mucka means friend, mate. Alright, me old mucka. It's just a phrase we use in the Black Country as well. Alright, me old mucka. Nah. So that means no. Quite commonly we say nah instead of no. Awamya. So awamya, that's a good one. I use this quite a lot and not everybody understands what I mean. But awamya basically means how are you? P is for tater. So potato. So there are other phrases we can use with P as well. And T. Potato. Q is for quid. I think a lot of people use that word, but you have to listen to the song to understand it a bit more. R is for riffy. So riffy just means dirty. It means unclean. S is for suck. So suck means sweets. So it's just a common colloquial expression for sweets. T is for tararabit. So other people do use this up and down the country as well. But tararabit means goodbye. U is for So it's just the way we say home. We don't say home very commonly. We say going anyway. So we're going home. Then V is for vest. I don't actually know what that means, but V is for vest. You have to listen to the song to understand that. W is for woman. So woman. W is for woman. Or wench, but that's a controversial one. And that's one that I'll talk about in just a moment as well. Y is for yampy, so a little bit daft, a little bit crazy, a little bit bonkers, that sort of thing. Z is for stripy oss. So basically, Z is for zebra. So stripy oss. Oss we commonly say for horse. And then gives a kiss. Give me a kiss, effectively. That's what that means. So that's the alphabet, and there is a song to it. So like I say, type it into YouTube and it will come up. It will make more sense if you do listen to it. But what I am going to do is go through the alphabet as well, letter by letter, and tell you some other sayings and some other words we do use and translate them for you. So if we talk about the letter A, our kid is used quite commonly in the Black Country. All right, our kid. That basically means, are you okay? It's like an affectionate terminology for a friend, a family member, colleague, somebody who's quite close to us. All right, our kid. Our bist. Our bist is another one we use. If you do travel to the Black Country and somebody says our bist, it basically means, how are you? A is another one, and I use A quite a lot, much to some of my family members' disgust. But I am from the Black Country and I'm not ashamed of speaking our local dialects because I think it's important to keep it alive. But A, so for example, I ain't doing that. So A basically means I'm not, I haven't, I'm not, those sort of phrases. So I ain't doing that, I ain't done that. And I know it doesn't sound grammatically correct, but it's our dialect. So if you are in the Black Country, if you live around here, you will know this. But if you're new to the Black Country, you will hear people say the word A quite a lot. I ain't doing that. And it's said usually with some expression behind it. I do use this quite a lot, and without realising, because certain people who I work with, because I don't work in the Black Country, pick up on certain phrases I use, and I don't realise how broad I can be at times until somebody who's outside the Black Country mentions it to me. But it makes me feel proud. Around the reeking. Now, this is a good one. This is a phrase I use a lot. I have used this expression to people who don't live in the Black Country and they don't know what I'm on about. What are you on about? What's the reeking? Going around the reeking, what does that mean? Usually it's said, going around the reeking. Going around the reeking means you are telling a story and you're telling it the long-winded way of getting to the punchline, getting to the point. Or there's been a diversion on the road, you're driving down the road, there's a diversion, and you've had to take a bit of a long-winded way to get round to your destination. You know when they put up roadworks and there's diversions and they block a road off and you have to do a diversion? Quite commonly, I will say, good and Bennett, we're going around the reeking here. It basically means we're going the long way round. Where does it come from? So the Wrekin is a hill in Shropshire, and for some reason we have an expression to go around the Wrekin. I think it's quite a large hill as well in Shropshire, and it is an actual place. Have a look on Google and you will find it, and that is an expression we use quite a lot in the local area. Any road up. So any road up means anyway. So if somebody says any road up to you, it just means anyway. Arbinya. Arbinya is another way of saying, are you all right? Arbay. So for example, arbay going. So it means I'm not going. So arbay means I'm not. So arbay basically means I'm not. And it's hard to make it sound like anything unless you put it into context. So for example, if I say I'm not going there, not doing it. Arbay going is what you might hear in the Black Country. Ark. Not Noah's Ark, but ark. So this is another one. Ark at him. Ark at him going on. So basically, if someone says ark at him, it basically means listen to him, look at him. And it's to describe somebody who's going on a little bit, somebody who thinks maybe they're a little bit better than everybody else, or they're a bit big for their boots. It's when somebody's going on a little bit and you might hear somebody locally saying, ark at him. Let's talk about B. So babby. I think a lot of people do understand what this means, but babby means baby. And I know some areas of Birmingham, they use this as well, and some areas of the UK. But babby, if you hear anyone say that, it is baby. I'm going to get the babby. The babby's crying. Or the babby's blarting, that's another one. Babby's another one you might hear. All right, bab. Blarting. Blarting means to cry. A bonk means a hill. So we've got an area here. We've got many areas with the word bank in them. But quarry bank, you might hear referred to as quarry bonk. Again, like I said, with the opple and apple, we quite commonly change the A for an O with our accent and our dialect. So a bank will be bonk. So for example, quarry bonk instead of quarry bank. Boston. Now, Boston is one I absolutely love to use, and not everybody knows what it means. Boston means it's brilliant, it's excellent, it's the best ever. So Boston, that's Boston. That's Boston, that is. Boston just means fantastic. It means brilliant. Not to be confused with a bossed up. Now, a bossed up means a fight. And then we've also got the word bossed or bossed. Now, bossed means broken. For example, I dropped my pen on the floor and it's bossed. So bossed means broken. It means it's broken. Something has broken. Buzz means bus. So we'll say the Z instead of an S. So catching the buzz, waiting for the buzz. It means bus. C, so carcoal. You might hear people saying, oh, shut your carcoal. Basically means mouth. Shut your mouth, shut your carcoal. The more I do this, the more silly it sounds. Cagionded means left-handed. So I'm left-handed. I am, well, technically ambidextrous, but I am left-handed. So I would be cagionded. Is cagionded. So she's left-handed. Chucking means throwing. So it's chucking it down outside today. Throwing it down. It's raining. It's absolutely chucking it down. Or chucking means to throw. Like chuck it here. Throw it here. I do think this phrase is used up and down the country as well. Coot. If somebody says, go and get me coot, it means go and get my coat. I'm going to take my coat off means I'm going to take my coat off. Core means can't, so I can't do that. I can't be bothered with that is another one, so I can't be bothered with that. The cut, I'm going for a walk along the cut. That would mean I'm going for a walk along the canal. So any part of the canal, I'm going for a walk on the cut. There were ducks swimming on the cut. It was a beautiful scenery. And then there was Stourbridge Glasgow in the distance on the side of the cut. So cut means canal. D. So some words for D are day, and not what day of the week it is. Day means didn't. I do that. I didn't do it. Not to be confused with I doing that. I doing that would be I'm not doing that. I do that would be I didn't do that. Day means didn't. I do it. I do it. I got a clue. So for example, if you went into the kitchen and somebody said, who spilt all this water in here? I do it. That would mean I didn't do it. Donnies, which we've already talked about. Donnies means hands. So you might hear people say, wash your donnies. I'm going to put some gloves on. My donnies are cold. My donnies are freezing. That sort of thing. You might also hear people saying, shut the door. Yeah, shut the door. I'm born in a barn. So shut the door. Shut to the door. So quite commonly in the Black Country, we do put extra syllables in words. So door would be doer. And there's other words that we do say differently as well. E, the letter E. So E can be used as the word he. So for example, he ain't done it would mean he hasn't done it. He's well dressed, eh? So that would be he's well dressed, isn't he? So we drop our H's. So he turns into E. Is another one. So obviously dropping our H's. Is her or she. Has got her umbrella there as walking down the road. So that would be, she's got an umbrella, hasn't she? She's walking down the road. Saying it without the context, it doesn't sound right, but translates to her or she. The letter F, you might hear people talking about faggots and peas. Faggots and peas are faggots and peas. This is a traditional Black Country dish in the local area. It is a Black Country delicacy and we say peas instead of peas. Face, like people say, shut your face. Face, it's the way it's pronounced, so it means face. You might hear people saying as well, which I don't hear this as often these days, but you might hear people who smoke saying, I'm going out for a fake. Have you got a fake? So a fake means a cigarette. And this one always makes me laugh and I don't know why. But yeah, you might hear people say, I'm going for a fake. Have you got a fake? Do you want to go for a fake? If you hear someone saying fake, It doesn't mean it's fake, it's false. It means it's a cigarette. Further means father. I'm going to see me father today will be I'm going to see my father today. So father, dad. Fiddle. Now fiddle is something I absolutely love and I need to stop having as much of. But fiddle means food. So that fiddle is amazing. Or quite commonly people say Boston fiddle, which I think there is a pub in Dudley called the Boston Fiddle. But fiddle means food. So I'm going for some fiddle. If you hear fiddle, it means food. And it's not one I hear many people use, but it's a word, again, like the word Boston, I love using. I do like using this word. Fizzog means face. Fust means first. The letter G, gannet. I don't know if this one's used up and down the country, actually, but gannet just means greedy. Gawping. What's a gawping at? It's somebody staring, somebody mouth open, staring, that sort of thing. What's a gawping at or gawking at? It means staring. What is she looking at? What is she staring at? That sort of thing. And I do think that phrase may be used all over the country as well, not just the Black Country. Gid means give. Gizzard means give it here. Gizzagoo, give me a go. Gob means mouth. Shut your gob. Or quite commonly somebody might say, oh, it's a bit gobby. And I think this one might be used in different areas of the UK as well. Gorrit. I've got it here. So basically, I've got it here. So gorrit means I've got it. Got it. Gooing. This is one I say a lot. I don't realise how much I say this, but I'm going over there. I'm going back inside. And going just means I'm going. But a lot of our words that we put together sounds very quick. It's all jumbled in one. Grey peas and bacon. Now this is another Black Country delicacy and it's grey peas and bacon. Another traditional Black Country dish. Yummy. So J, we've got Jed, which means dead. There's Jed. Dead. So I'm going to talk about the letter L. Loff. But loff means laugh. You got a laugh at ya. You got a laugh at ya. That's another one as well. But loff, loffing. Loffing means laughing. Hooray off, loffing. Laughing. M. If you hear someone say med, it means made. Made a cup of tea. So I've made a cup of tea. Moithered. Hooray off, moithering means she's worrying. She's worrying about something. There is something. If somebody's moithered, they're worrying. I don't know if moithered is used up and down the country as well, but I know certainly there's a lot of people in the Black Country that use the word moithered. Having a mooch, having a look for something, mooching around, having a mooch around. So for example, I like to go in charity shops for my reselling, so I'm having a mooch in the charity shops. I do think mooch is one that's used commonly as well up and down the country, but it is sometimes I use that. I'm having a mooch around. Mon means man. So, alright, me mon, that's quite a common phrase used in the Black Country. Mon means man, but instead of man, we use mon. Now, that is because, like I've said previously, in the Black Country, instead of using the A, we changed it to an O. So, opple, bonk, mon. Some examples there. So, N, if you go to the hospital, you might see a nurse. Now, a nurse is a nurse. Offal. Offal is basically cheap bits of meat. It's like cheap parts of the animal. Come home and cook it. Nothing goes to waste. Ond is hand, unless you use the word donnies, but ond will be hand because we drop our H's and we change the A to an O, so it's ond. So P, pays means peas. So if you go to the chippy, you might ask for, I don't know, mushy peas. Mushy peas, I'm going to have some mushy peas. The letter R, so riffy. Riffy means dirty, unclean. The letter S, you might hear people saying saft. Oh, he's a bit saft. He's a bit daft. He's a bit silly. I'm going to the shop. The shop means shop. So in this sense, like the opal example, we are changing the O in shop to an A. So it becomes a shop, not a shop. So if you hear people saying, I'm going to the shop, I'm going to the shop. Sid means saw. For example, I sit it on the table would be, I saw it on the table. So Sid would be, I've seen it, saw it somewhere. A spanner. Have you got a spanner? So a spanner is a spanner. An hammer is a hammer. Summit means something. Something like that. This is one I say quite a lot as well, something like that. So summit like that means something like that. So people might say summit instead of something. And then suck means sweets. Tea, so the letter T. If somebody say, would you like a cup of tea? Cup of tea. Tea means tea, cup of tea. Take means take. I'm taking a bar of chocolate means I'm taking a bar of chocolate. I'm taking it with me. I'm taking it with me. Traipse. I love this word. And I don't know if it's just a Black Country word, but traipsing around. I've been traipsing around here for hours. Traipsing basically means walking around aimlessly. I've been traipsing around here for hours. Tranclements. I don't hear many people use this expression anymore. But tranclements just means things like bits and pieces, ornaments, those sort of like bits and bobs. But tranclements is not one I hear very often. And I don't know if it is just a Black Country thing, but I don't hear many people use this phrase at all anymore. Now, tooth. Tooth means tooth. Now, I think when people say the word tooth, it sounds posh. I say tooth and people say, oh, it's tooth. And I'm like, it's tooth. Tooth. It's your tooth. But yeah, so tooth means tooth. W, if somebody says waiter, unless they've said council pop, they mean water. So waiter, a glass of water means a glass of water. Wammel means animal. So like I'm going down the cut to walk the wammel. I'm going down the canal to walk the animal, walk the dog. But you might hear people call their dogs or cats or pets wammels. The wammel, it just means animal. Now, a wash is a wash. It's just the way we say it. Going for a wash would be I'm going for a wash. A wick, not a candle wick, but a wick is a week. So I'll see you in a week's time. Wench. Now, wench in the Black Country is an affectionate terminology for what we call other women. All right, me wench. Now, I have to be careful when I say this because there are people who I work with outside of the Black Country who can get offended at this because wench can mean other things in other areas of the country and other areas of the world. So wench, I'm not going to tell you what it can translate to, but in the Black Country is very affectionate. So all right, me wench, we say it quite affectionately towards other women, towards other girls. However, further afield, it's not the case. So why? Yampy. Yampy means daft, crazy. It means a little bit silly, a little bit bonkers. Now, this isn't one I hear people use very often anymore, and I think it can be a bit controversial with the meaning of it, but it is one that you might hear people still use. Yam means you are. There's yam. You're all right means are you all right. So that is our Black Country alphabet. Here is my Black Country bag here that I like to keep near to me because when I'm not in the Black Country, it reminds me of being at home. So my accent isn't the strongest. There are people with broader accents than me. And especially for YouTube, I try not to be too broad so people can understand me. The same as it goes because I don't work locally. I work further afield with my full-time job. So I try not to speak too broad when I'm out and about because there are times, especially on a night shift, where I'll slip into the dialect a little bit easier because I'm tired. And people are staring at me like I'm an alien because they don't know what to say. So then I think, can I have a translator, please? Because nobody can understand me. But my accent, as it goes, I know I might get comments saying your accent's not that strong. I know it's not. But I am proud of the Black Country. I am from here and I love my accent. There are people with a stronger accent than me and there's people who have a more milder accent and a neutral accent as well. But I'm kind of, I think, in the middle. To people who aren't from the Black Country, I've got a very strong accent. And another side note, are by a Brummie? I'm not from Birmingham. I am a yam yam. I am from the Black Country. Don't call us Brummies because we are Brummies. And there is a difference between the Black Country dialect and Birmingham. Birmingham accent is completely different. Let me know in the comments your favourite phrases from the Black Country and let me know if I've missed anything out. I do appreciate can't say all of the Black Country phrases. I've tried to condense it as much as possible, but let me know any phrases that you use, any phrases that people don't use anymore. And if you're not from the Black Country, let me know in the comments if you've understood anything that I've said, or if you found it remotely interesting. Thank you if you did watch, and I will join you tomorrow where I'm going to be talking about the Black Country and the significance to do with the Titanic and the anchor.